we're back to Daif International. My bad. We're now in 27:22, and we read, "But the hoopoe stayed not long, and said, I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not encompassed, and I have come to you from Sheba with certain news. Indeed, I found there a woman ruling them, and she has given of all things, and she has a great throne."
Yes. So again, same scenario. The hoopoe came and he said, "My Lord, King of the world, listen to me. Let what I say into your ears. For the month, like he's telling me, I was traveling for months all over the world. It's beautifully described. All this legendary description of where he went. So anyway, I kept looking about until I found one such principality, the city of Quito, which is the capital of Kingdom of Sheba. Thus there is more valuable than gold, and silver is a common as manure in the street. Its trees planted since the beginning of creation drink water from the gardens of Eden. It in are many warriors whose hands are crowned with the
Laurels.
whatever that is. But these warriors do not know how to wage war. They are unable even to bend the bow. Indeed, I saw a woman, again, just like in the Quran, I saw a woman ruling of all of them. She is called the Queen of Sheba. So again, the same scenario, the same event. You can see by the description that it is a beautiful, beautiful, fantastic legend, but nothing to do with reality. And we must remember the Quran considered these events as real events. So,
Shay, I have one quick question. The city of Kitor, is that related to the root word keter?
Quito, I don't know. It's
Well, because
I don't know. I don't know
root.
this. I'm not familiar with the word.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not in the Bible. I don't think it's in the Bible too. The Quito part, it's from different sources. Now, I wanted to say one thing, that usually you see the Jewish legend is much more elaborated and much more description. But I'm sure that I'm not sure. No, in outside the Quran is like how do you say it? Shortened version.
Yeah, a bridge.
If you look at other Muslim sources, you get a longer and more elaborate story too. So but since we're speaking about the Quran, we'll focus on the Quran itself instead of the other Muslim sources of the same story. Okay?
Yeah. It looks from the previous slide and this one, it looks almost as though they were telling the story, the Quranic story, like incredibly quickly. It's almost like, oh yeah, the bird actually went there and then there was a woman and she was Shiva and that's it. And they're moving on. It's almost like they know the story, but they're not telling the full detail.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you go to the outside, like the history, Al-Tabari or Talabi, they give much more details about each event that is in the Quran.
It's interesting. It's almost like the Quran, the intention is to prove that they know the stories rather than, the content of the stories being that important. It's more so like, recapping every detail. Like, oh, we know the story. We're of the cool kids. Something like that.
I don't know their motives. Okay, so for me, I can go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's see. So we have here then another one. Still we're on Surah 27, 24 to 26. So it goes, I found her. So this is still the bird speaking to Solomon. I found her and her people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah. And Satan has made their deeds pleasing to them and averted them from his way. So they are not guided. So they do not prostrate to Allah, who brings forth what is hidden within the heavens and the earth, and knows what you conceal and what you declare. Allah, there is no deity except Him, Lord of the great throne.
Okay, so now you see a shift in the difference. Certainly, the Quran is the long part, and the Haggadah is the short parallel. And this is a change in the narrative. Usually, it's nothing very specific to Quran or to Islam, because all cultures, when they adopt a story from other cultures, usually they change the narrative to fit their culture or their ideology. And it's exactly a perfect example of how the Quran does it in this part. Because in Islam or in the Quran narrative, the importance of believing in Allah is greater than it's the biggest agenda, that everyone should believe in Allah, and not believing in him is forbidden, and it's like it's satanic and it's evil. And you see how the verses really emphasize this part. While you go to the Haggadah in Judaism, there is no such obsession with people believing in the God of Moses, or there is no such. We're not so obsessed with other people having different faiths, unlike Islam. So the only thing parallel between the Haggadah and the Quran is that the queen went out to prostrate herself to the sun, not saying her Satan got a hold of her, or she has the wrong religion, or Allah is the only one. There is no such language in the Haggadah. Do you understand what I trying to convey here?
Absolutely. So we have on the previous verses that we've seen is like most of the detail has been removed and they just kept the very basic ones. And then we get to this one and it's the opposite. Instead of keeping the one line that is about Queen Sheba prostrating to the sun, they insert a lot of verses. They actually add all
the
of
ideology.
these
Insert the ideology.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is all about Muslims and Islam, which of course didn't happen.
And everything, all the rest is satanic. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's almost because they have to, the elaboration, like you were pointing out, is not on details. The elaboration is how you should feel about those details, right? So
Yes.
The story talks about Sheba prostrating to the sun, which implicitly the assumption is, okay, that's not good because you should prostrate to he who created the sun. But you don't have to rail that on. That's why the Haggadah doesn't do that. But
Exactly.
in the Quranic elaboration, the point is they mention the detail about her prostrating to the sun, and because they're more pious than thou, they have to condemn it really, really harshly, like explicitly. It must be done, How dare she prostrate to that which is not Allah, and so on.
Yeah, and to think that if a Muslim hears us now and sees that the Jews, right, that Solomon didn't care that she was worshiping the sun is unthinkable, because that would be he would, of course, as being Solomon being a Muslim prophet, the first thing he would want her is to change her religion to the true one. So it's unthinkable for them to think that it's so it's just a woman, queen worshiping the sun is just not that important in the Haggadah narrative.
I have a question, Shay. So in the Haggadah, when it comes to this, I would assume it's not that the story, says what she was doing was good. It simply doesn't speak on it, right?
No, because actually it's good that you said that, because in biblical account, we know that Solomon married a lot of women, and at certain point, those women started to build temples to gods. When you read the Bible, and the rabbis were speaking about it, and he said, "It's how could Solomon let this happen?" So they determined that actually Solomon tried the most to make all of his wives to follow the Jewish Torah, but at certain point he started to get old and fade away, and they started to go back to idolatry. So it's not that we see as positive to worship the sun, but we're not as obsessed as Islam is, with everyone worshiping no one other than Allah. You understand the differences?
Yeah. It's the story is more sophisticated. The meaning that's being portrayed is not in the sense of do not do this. Worshipping the sun is bad, right? It's more implicit.
Yeah, become a Muslim. It's not become a Jew or die, or convert to Judaism or die scenario, because he did brought those queens to the Torah of Moses, but at a certain point they faded out of it and became more back to paganism. So it's
one could even interpret the story as an implicit moral lesson about polygamy, potentially. in the sense that even a man as great as Solomon in his old age was not able to keep all of his wives on the straight and narrow path. And therefore the implicit moral lesson could be something of the sort, but it's not explicit.